Yo, what's up? Good morning, guys. This is Angel, a channel median, blast from the past, as I like to call it. So, what I have for you today is different than normal, but also the same as normal. Man, we're on the verge of an awakening. Like, it is coming. Like, the masses is awakening. We are starting to awaken. We're starting to remember who we are, where we come from, why we're here, our purpose, and walk in unconditional love with no judgment. But I noticed lately, as I'm scrolling through like YouTube, because I'll go to YouTube, watch some videos. I'll go to Gaia, watch some videos. But mainly like YouTube, there's so many people out here that are still sleeping. There's so many people out here that are not awakening. It is not our job to awaken them. We will awaken on our own. We will awaken in our own time. We will come to our own understanding. It is our job to continue to spread the knowledge through love with no judgment and let those people awaken in their own time. Sometimes we may awaken in now, sometimes we may not. Sometimes we awaken in, I don't know, the next life, because we always come back. If we don't do it right the first time, we're going to come back. But we do awaken. We awaken in our own time. I was watching some things. I always watch information like on the Great Pyramid, Thoth, Atlantis, Atlanteans, XYZ. But I had a download. So my download is that, like, we focus so much on that time period because that time period was like the first time period in which we could visibly see like the negative and the positive working but not balancing, if that makes any sense. It wasn't balancing. Like, if you look at the time period before, if you can go back, there's not a lot of evidence about the time period before. I believe the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx are evidence of the time period before the Atlanteans. They lived with all good and balance. That's why we don't hear much about that. Those people of that time period lived a good life. Like, they were taught, they were given their purpose, they were given why they were here, what they were to do, and that's how they lived. They lived and worked and stayed in harmony with the earth, which is why I believe they built the pyramids and the Sphinx. I believe the pyramid and the Sphinx were symbols of power. They were electrical power grids. And there's not a lot of information about this. I'm going to do some more research on that. I kind of watched a video that touched on it a little bit, but I believe it can go more in depth than what it is. We just don't know yet. But I feel like what they did was they lived in good harmony. So I feel like whatever happened to cause the Great Flood, it wiped them out. And the reason I feel like it did that was because they were living just in the positive. So you have to have the positive and the negative to create a balance. I don't feel like there was a negative to create a balance. It was just a positive, because those people were placed here essentially. They were like our first civilization, our first people placed here. When Earth split off and became Earth, Mother Earth, from the planet she was, I feel like the people that came here for that experience came, but they only came with love, unconditional love. And it's not a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. And these are all pieces of like a broken thought. So it could be a rant or just a broken thought, but these are pieces. So I feel like they had temples, they had schools. These temples were taught each temple basically taught them how to open and use each chakra in our body. And I know that we don't really think of that way. I feel like these were our first ancestors. These were the people who were here before. I know they talk about people here before the Atlanteans being like cave people. I feel like whatever happened created cave people. I don't feel like they were cave people at all. I don't feel like they communicated like we do through language. I feel like they communicated telepathically. I feel like they were very knowledgeable. And a lot of these symbols and stuff may be from them. But again, I need to do more research on it. I'm going to create a podcast with a lot of my research and my findings. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be on Spotify. So I'm excited for that. So I felt like they truly harnessed the power of Earth. They truly were spiritual people. They truly were divine people. They truly were connected with Source in a way that we want to be connected with Source. I feel like there was never any moment when they weren't connected to Source. And I feel like these people that ruled, some ruled from the galactic, some ruled here on Earth, depends on which way they wanted to go, knew this. And those people were not here to rule, but they were here to help guide these people to stay enlightened, to stay on their path. And if they got off their path, I felt like the rulers, quote unquote, would come down and try to figure out why. It was never a judgment. It was like, why did you make this decision? Okay, let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. So that's why you never had any negative to exist, because it was all positive. And if there was an inkling of negative, then these people, they would go before, I would say, like the council, the galactic council. We'll use that and figure it out. So I feel like they went through these schools was here to awaken and open their chakras, and I feel like they lived in perfect harmony with the earth. But there was not a balance of negative and positive. There was just good, and you have to have both in order to have like balance. Like we talk about getting rid of the ego, but you don't really get rid of the ego. You balance the ego with your higher self, so you have a perfect balance, and you work through things that ego presents. Ego is going to present all your fears. So, but anyway, that is my hypothesis. I think I said that right. If I didn't, I will. For today, and I'm gonna create a podcast to kind of go through all these things because I have a lot of theories and thoughts that I want to try and prove. But that's just one. I feel like the pyramids it was a power grid. It sent energy and power throughout the world, natural, clean power, kind of like what Nikola Tesla was doing. If you look at Nikola Tesla and you look at the pyramids, you'll see a similarity there. I feel like the Sphinx was there not to be worshipped, but it may have been a temple at one point in time. It may be a school. It might have been somewhere where they could go and do whatever they needed to do. I feel like when the Anunnaki came, they saw the temple and they created it for like a spiritual place with the king's chamber and everything, and that's how we see it today. But in reality, I feel like there's so much untold history, and I feel like all the pieces of this history are out here amongst us collectively, and I feel like eventually all the information will come out. So that's my thought today. Make sure you guys go subscribe to my YouTube. I need 50 subscribers. I'll go live on YouTube. I'm going to have a podcast coming soon. I'm going to retry my link tree to put all my links on there. But anyway, that's my thought for the day. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to go live tomorrow. So namaste. Follow my YouTube. Go subscribe to my YouTube. Link in the bio. If you want to book an appointment for me, link in the bio. And stay tuned for a podcast.